Today, my guest is Professor Dr. Paula Brown from Osage Beach, Missouri. I'm Rick J., your host, and this is Mid-Missouri Art News. If you would, please welcome with me Dr. Paula Brown, who has a lot to offer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Dr. Brown.
Rick, thank you.
Well, if you would, please, we like to, the viewers love to get to know a person. So if you would, tell us a little bit about Professor Dr. Paula Brown.
Well, I grew up first in Kansas City, and when I was about 8, and my mother moved us to a little town. So I grew up in a little town near Clinton, Missouri, and the name of it's Lowry City. Inspiration behind a lot of things I do. She worked to put herself through college and raise 4 children, and went on to be an educator and a counselor and a superintendent. But with that, she inspired in her 4 children to an education was important and to move forward with that. But I think as a little girl, I spent a lot of time out in nature and drawing and painting, and so all of those different experiences kind of built who I am today.
I've been looking forward to visiting with you here at the Round Table for a few months now. I first met you at the Sedalia Visual Arts Association
Yes.
Meeting, where you presented your past somewhat and stepped into your art. Now, you've been recognized recently with your education academics. Can you tell us a little bit about your foundation that you've built and what it basically reveals now after so many years of hard work, I'm sure?
Well, when I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to college. I couldn't wait. And so I went to the University of Missouri, and so I worked and received I have a bachelor's of art education. As soon as I got out of college, I got a teaching position in Camdenton, Missouri, at Camdenton High School.
I see.
And so I was the art instructor there in the high school for 11 years.
Wow.
And as I became very interested in the students and what they were doing, they moved me into a counseling position. I didn't want to be a counselor. I wanted to stay in art, but I was a counselor. Then I was director of guidance. And when I was working with children, I guess I'm very passionate about their care. And so I started writing grants, and I built an alternative school called Horizons with grants. And my principal then was probably my mentor, R.C. Worthen. And so from there, he pushed me to finish my degree as a principal. So I became a principal, high school principal, and so was his assistant, and then a principal for. And I was there 33 years in the high school, and then and I built several programs.
Sure.
So the Horizons for the children who had that need, who didn't meet the norms, and then I created the International Baccalaureate program for gifted children.
Oh, excellent.
Then A+, and just several programs for students, and. So I wanted to retire after 33 years because my son was a senior, or my youngest son was, and they asked me to take over a middle school, so I was principal there for 3 years, and during that time I built what was called areas of career interest. So the community got hold of all that information, because when I retired then, I started the gallery. And with that, I teach, one of the aspects of it is that I teach stroke victims who have gone through strokes how to draw and use their fine motor skills, connect their brain back to their fine motor skills. And I also have about 54 art students. So, and when I started the gallery, I just wanted a studio, but it became bigger than that. So the education part of me, and I'm still a professor, you know, that teaches education classes, but it all combined to where it became an academy. So the art gallery now is an academy and a gallery and my studio.
And she represents a lot of fine artists, which we're going to talk more about. The gallery is at Osage Beach. And
Yes.
so if you have not been to Osage Beach, to the gallery, well, definitely hope you'll pay a visit. We've talked about how art is used therapeutically with many guests, not only as an individual, but helping others.
Yes.
You're talking about basically retraining the brain for victims. We've had different ones, car wrecks, strokes, that have used it naturally on a personal basis. But it's really great how art can reach so many people in so many ways. And connect,
Yes.
or let them reconnect, or connect with others, communicate with others, what have you. I can see that with your foundation, that it was almost automatic that you would start developing and tying education and art together. So Dr. Brown is more than just an artist.
Well, over the years, I was taught art for only 11 of those years, but at night, when I got home from the ball games, the football games, the basketball games, whatever the activities were, I could put myself to sleep. I could calm down by painting. So I always had a painting going
Yes.
in my studio. So when I got home at night, I would paint, and then I could sleep. And so I've always continued my own art and been able to kind of develop, you know, who am I and what's my style. Because when you teach, you can teach any style.
Sure.
Or you have to teach every style. So when you, many teachers, art teachers, have to stop and figure out who am I.
Exactly.
And so that's a process. And so I was able to develop that over the years. And my first love is the art because, as you've said to me several times, is that you can lose yourself and just relax and let everything go during the day. And, you know, as an assistant principal, your days are filled, and as a principal, so you, it's hard to just let down and relax. So I had to find somewhere to stick in my love for art, so it was always at night when they went to sleep.
What is your favorite, shall we say, media?
Well, a lot of people ask me that, and that's hard because I teach every medium, but I guess my preference would be oil. However, I do a lot of acrylics because I can get them done quickly, but I paint in acrylic just like I do in oil. But I teach watercolor, acrylic, oil drawing. I do a lot of Conti drawings. So I guess oil and acrylic would be my two favorite. I really enjoy them, and I just got through working on a painting last night, and I have a lot of commissions right now. So I have a lot of paintings stacked up that people want done.
Right.
So I have to also balance that between what people want of me and what I want to do. And so that's a hard balance because the more people get to know you, the more they want you. Could you paint this, please? Or could you do this, please? So I have to balance that.
And your art represents you so well. What is your favorite type of artwork? Shall we say subject matter?
Well, my favorite artwork is when I can represent who I am and what like my past, or paint the places from my past, or if I can tell a story in my
Yes.
paintings. And I love to be able to tell the story of who I am or where I'm coming from. Or even if it's about someone else, like right now I'm painting a series about World War II veterans because I work with them. That's one of the reasons I was put into the magazine is I work with World War II veterans, and I put on a giant Veterans Day show. Well, this just came out. This is LO Profile magazine, and they just did a cover story, and I'm right here. And it's very interesting. It's called the Ambassadors of Hope series, and they had nominations for people in the community that inspired hope in others.
Yes.
And so I don't know who the nominations were all from, but it probably was people that I worked with Veterans Day and the stroke victims and art students and the school system. So, but I was very honored to be a part of that.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really notable, and it definitely it closes a little bit of a chapter in your life of all the hard work that you've put into.
Well, it's something I did not, you know, it was such an honor because I had no idea, and it was such a surprise, and just very honored by the people that surround me. Hello, I would like to show you something special. I work with stroke victims at the hospital, and monthly I go in and create a 2-hour painting. And with those 2-hour paintings, they're different every month. I teach them for 2.5 hours to paint the same painting. So what I've noticed with doing this, it's therapeutic, and the main attraction to it is that it attaches brain waves to the fine motor skills in their hands. And so the stroke victims have become stronger, and they're painting beautiful paintings. So the fall themes that we've come up with have been the pumpkins, a scarecrow, and these are examples of some of the fall themes. I paint them the night before in 2 hours, and then we paint them the next day for 2.5 hours. And it's amazing what happens, and very proud of their work.
Oh, great. Well, that is really awesome. So back to your type of art, it's from your heart, as we always say, and you have certain pieces. Are there certain pieces that we can share with the viewers today that you'd like to?
Yes, I can show some work, artwork that I've done recently and in the past.
But by name, can you describe those for the timeline?
Well, I have one that is By Thy Roots, and it simply is a tree with a swing in it, but it was a place that I climbed that tree and was in that swing, and while my grandfather would plow the fields, I would just daydream, get up there and daydream about who I would be in the future or what I wanted to be, and because I grew up in those fields and on those in that farm area, and so I felt like the strength that was given me was by my ancestors and by my family, and so the name of that painting is By Thy Roots. And then I have several paintings that where I have found like antique pictures of the past, and I have drawn them because our history is fading away now. We all have our pictures on our phones, and so I found these pictures, and then I draw them up, and I name them after whatever's written on the back. And so I would like to do a show called Moments in Time.
Excellent.
So I have several of them with me
It's
today.
a great theme. Right. So those do sound special, and we'll definitely share them with the viewers. Now, you exhibit many art forms, at your gallery, which is Lake Fine Art Museum and Galleria there at Osage Beach. Tell our viewers where it's at, address, contact information if you would.
Okay. It's Lake Fine Art Academy and Galleria. It's at 5513 Osage Beach Parkway in Osage Beach, Missouri. And if you know the area, I'm on the west side of the old parkway, of Grand Glazed Bridge. So I'm on the west side, and it's the old parkway. It's right beside the Osage Beach Post Office.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's,
Okay,
but it's very, it's in a little strip. I mean, there's kind of the Lakeshore Plaza strip mall, and I'm right in there.
Now, do you have, you're doing commissions, so do you have a contact information that you'd like to share as far as email,
Yes.
Facebook, whatever?
Well, my email would be pbrown58@charter.net, and that would be the easiest way to find me. Also, my webpage has just been renewed, and it's www.lakefineart.net, and so we're excited about that because it will have all the artists' names on them, and we're trying to get it to where when you click on their names, you see their artwork.
Well, not to pin you down, but if an artist wanted to contact you, exhibit their artwork, what would be the procedure to follow then?
They would need to call me at 573-480-1887 and schedule a time to come in, because I do teach every day. I'm closed on Sundays and Mondays, but I'm open Tuesday through Saturday, and I open at 10 and I close at 5, except on Saturday I close at 3. And so we would need to schedule a time because I have lots of classes I teach during that time.
I see. Well, I'm going to ask another tough question, because every artist seems to think that they're never good enough to, should we say, exhibit their artwork. So do you have a criteria that would maybe inspire, or what do you look for?
Well, I'm very picky about what goes in the gallery, but we have a personal meeting, and as I look through their portfolio, I simply choose what I'd like to be in the gallery, but I also try to build them up with critiques and how they could be better, because sometimes people come to me, they're trying to get out there, but they're more amateur.
Yes.
And so I talk to them about, ways to help build their style and try to form a style. But what I look for my gallery is that an artist needs a style.
Yes.
That they can be identified by. And if they don't have a style yet, then they need to develop one or start working towards that. And so if I can't find a style, I'm searching for that. And so that would be the criteria that I'm looking for.
Well, Dr. Brown, we're just about out of time. So on behalf of JCTV, I want to thank you so much for contributing to Mid-Missouri Art News, making it a learning and educational experience for all. Do you have any closing words for our viewers?
No, I just appreciate that you've given me the opportunity to show off the gallery and to tell people that I'm there and that I have a venue for artists to show.
Well, thank you once again.